Tavares Jordan.
Music, but we have a happy
Diego, we're in such big suspense, man. Who do you have?
I'm on an island with the Carolina Panthers this week, and I'm very confident in it. All right?
Diego.
music,
Tavares Jordan.
music, but we have a happy
Diego, we're in such big suspense, man. Who do you have?
I'm on an island with the Carolina Panthers this week, and I'm very confident in it. All right?
Diego. Diego, stop. Stop it. Stop it. Carolina, they won't be a good team this decade. So stop picking them. Your quarterback, yeah, he's a decent quarterback, but he don't have anybody around him. Just stop picking Carolina, man. It's gonna make you lose. If you want to compete with me, you better start making these type of picks. You better start picking with your head and not with your heart.
Yeah, man. Oh, those are fire.
Courtesy of PickemPros.
That's right.
Like and subscribe.
This is former Chicago Bear Desmond Clark. And y'all hear me on many podcasts, but when y'all hear me on PickemPros, y'all know it's all about family. This ain't just business.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You know who it is. I am Derek Thompson with the PickemPros, coming back at you in the house with another episode of Who We Got.
Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Excited for this week of football. Big college football slate with Georgia and Texas. You know, it's going to be a good week.
Good. Hey, do you hear feedback?
No, let me tell my headline. Say something real quick.
I'm hearing myself twice. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Everybody watching.
I hear you fine. Like I don't have any issues on my end.
Okay. I'm getting feedback here. Hold on one second. Let me jump out and let me try to jump back in.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, how we doing? The Panther flag. Go Panthers. Go Panthers.
Okay. All right. Hold on 1 second, Chris. I think there's another window open. I'm just hearing crazy feedback. So I'm trying to. Okay. I think I found it.
Gotcha.
All right. Sorry about that. There was another instance of the show going, and I was hearing everything twice. So I would hear it like 30 seconds later. So sorry about that. Sorry about that, y'all. PickemPros, we are here in the house. Special episode of Who You Got. Diego is out with his boys celebrating their championship for their conference. He's going to join us for a few minutes a little later, but really excited to have him join us and give us his insight. He went 14-0 this past week with his picks, man. So that's not too bad.
Yeah. Undefeated. I mean, that's kind of crazy. I'm just saying. That's
pretty crazy. Yeah. And of course, Desmond Clark on cue said, because Des went 14-2. That was his best. So he was bragging about how that was the best week ever, right? PickemPro history, 14-2. So when Diego went 14-0, he was like, "Oh, congratulations on tying my what I did." Like, oh, really? Come on, Des. Anyway, but what's up, Josh? What's up, Silas? Thank you guys for checking us out, man. We got a fire show today. We're going to talk about NFL. We've got to talk about Davante Adams going to the Jets. Have to hit that. We've got Amari Cooper going to the Buffalo Bills. We have to talk about that. Does this mean they're Super Bowl bound? We're going to pick all the Week 7 games. Okay. We've got MLB playoffs. We got to talk about that. We've got Brandon Bean, who's going to join us to talk about baseball. We've got NBA, WNBA, and then, of course, we're going to end like we did last week with the generational debates on the music tip. That was really cool. So last week we gave our top 5 rappers of all time.
Yeah.
This week we're going top 5 producers, hip-hop producers. So that's going to be pretty good.
Excited for that.
Yeah. We're very excited for that. So thank you, everybody, for checking us out. Let's dive right into the NFL news, man. Let's go to the big trade that's happened. We had 2 big moves, but let's start with Davante Adams to the Jets. Chris, man, give us your take on this one.
So, obviously, you're adding one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He's basically Aaron Rodgers' best friend. You know, if you saw the reveal on McAfee's show where Davante just kind of snuck up out of the corner, which is like, "Hey guys, I'm here." It was really cool to see, but I don't know how much this elevates the Jets to like a contender status, because again, they're already 2-4 in a division with a very good team who also made a trade. Now, do I think they'll drastically improve and possibly be on the bubble for like a wild card spot? Yes, but I don't know how much this immediately makes them like contenders or like in the Super Bowl discussion. I think Davante definitely elevates the wide receiver room. You immediately get one of the best duos with him and Garrett Wilson. I don't know what they're doing with Mike Williams. They're shopping him around. But then I think a core of Adams, Wilson, and Lazard, it'll be good. Now, I do think Wilson's targets might go down significantly. And it just seemed like him and Aaron were about to get on the same page. But I don't know. I feel like Aaron is doing this whole last dance thing where he's like, I don't want my – and he did it with the Packers where you saw that he didn't want to wait for these young receivers to develop. But then you see how the Packers receivers have developed with Jordan Love and how especially like, it seems like they have a different guy every week turning up for them. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like Aaron in this case, he's like, hey, listen, I'm 40. Let me just go with Old Faithful and Davante, and let's just see what happens. So I'm excited to see Davante in New York. I hope he does well. He's one of my favorite players. But I do think this just makes them a wild card team, not so much a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, I agree. It makes them a wild card team. I think this specifically gets them to 11 wins. I've got them at 11, which, again, you look at it right now, I believe they're 2-4. So that is a big jump. I looked at their schedule, kind of broke it down, and they've got a pretty favorable schedule. They've got the Bills twice, which is going to be tough. but for the most part, they have a pretty favorable schedule as they finish the season out. But I think Davante gives them a big boost. The defense was already playing well. Davante gives them a boost. Garrett Wilson, yeah, this will definitely impact him, but this will give them the boost they need to beat a lot of the mediocre teams that they're going to play from now through the rest of the season. But I don't think they really go much past wild card, second round at most. They won't get past that.
Yeah. I actually looking at their schedule. If you just pencil in the Texans and the Bills as like losses, the rest of the games very winnable for the Jets. I was like, okay. So we'll see. I just as Aaron Rodgers' biggest hater, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want them to do well, but that's nothing, and that's purely because I just feel like he's a bit of a diva and a prima donna who, at this point, you're still like, hey, he's won all these MVPs and he's done stuff. But then, like, we come playoff time, and his teams have turned into pumpkins since they won the Super Bowl in 2010. It's like, oh, they play the 49ers and they fold, or they play this team and they fold really quickly. So it's like, what are we to expect of Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't look like the same? And I don't know. It's just, sorry, Summer. It's just, I'm never been a huge fan of it. I'm sorry.
That's right. Shout out to Summer behind the scenes, managing comments and the questions. So shout out to you. Yeah, man. Hey, Rodgers had everybody on his side, but as we've kind of gotten to know a little more about Rodgers, the tide has turned a bit over the last 5 or 6 years. He's deeper. But it's funny because I kind of feel the same about Davante. It's like you never heard from Davante until this last year, and now they kind of hear more from him. I wonder how favorable he'll be in people's eyes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like with the receiver show, I mean, Jimmy G was his quarterback. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'd be pretty ticked off too. Like Davante, he good, but like you see that all alpha like dominant receivers, like they got the diva in them, and that's okay. That's how I want wide receiver. I don't want my receiver to be like, oh no, I'm cool. Let's play Tebow. No, if I know I'm like that, I want the ball. So I don't mind that from Davante, but your quarterback throwing Mike Williams under the bus, that wasn't cool.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was my issue. That
was bad. Yeah. That was bad. That's right, Brandon. As though you're saying don't hate on Rodgers. We know you're a Jets homer, Brandon. We can't wait to see you in a few minutes. But yeah, that was bad, man. That was really bad. All right. Well, we're gonna move on to the next big trade, but before we do that, really excited about next week. So again, our show is typically Saturdays, but we're going to be Friday here for the next week or two. Next week, we're going to be Friday. We're going to be in a special podcast studio, and we'll have a really cool setup. So we've got Joe that's going to be producing for us, Summer and everything. So we're going to take it a step up. So don't want to miss that. Should be about the same time. And we're going to go very deep into, of course, week 8, but we'll also dive deep into NBA and give you all of our rankings 10 through 1, tell you exactly where everybody's going to finish. But let's move on to our next NFL news topic. Let's go to Amari Cooper to the Bills. One, we just talked about the week before, do the Buffalo Bills need a number 1 receiver? We were talking about that. We talked about how far they could go without having a number 1. I think all of us, the general consensus was that they would make the playoffs, but not really be able to compete for a Super Bowl without a number 1 receiver. So let me ask you this. Do they have a number 1 with Amari? And how far do you think they go?
I believe they still do. I still believe that he has a bunch left in the tank. I think, again, the Cleveland situation, Deshaun Watson playing abysmal at quarterback. Like, that's just like, everybody's like, his stats are down this year. I'm like, yeah, Deshaun's throwing him the ball. Like, he's not even throwing him the ball. That's the issue. Mm-hmm. So I think that Amari, especially in this offense with a Joe Brady, who's very creative, I think he can get him some opportunities to succeed. I think he's still one of the best route runners in the league. I still think that he can, and even if he's not the number 1, he's still a veteran who can like at least show the receivers what to do, how to prepare, how to basically succeed. So I think I like this trade better for the Bills than weirdly the Adams trade for the Jets. I really think that Amari just because I've always respected his game and how he's kind of like, he's always had his numbers, but he's always like kept it quiet, been like very humble, not a brash, outspoken guy. He's just like, look, I'm just here to ball, do my thing. And I really think that the Bills need that because, again, when they had a Stephon Diggs, somebody who's demanding the ball all the time, a bit more of a diva. And again, it's like you get the route running and the skill, but you don't get the diva aspect that you get with a Stephon Diggs. So I think it's a win-win. I think that's really good.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's definitely a win-win. I think this was a great pickup. I mean, Amari is a tactician. You know, the knock against him, at least with the Cowboys, was that sometimes, especially on the road, he would disappear a bit.
Yeah.
It seemed like at home he was a beast. Sometimes on the road he would disappear. But you know, he still got that burst. He gives them another dimension. I like the Bills a lot, even without Amari. I was a little higher on the Bills than others with the core that they have. I really like Shakur and Coleman and those guys, but now adding Amari Cooper to it, I think it gets them another gear, man. I think this puts them into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Actually, I think this gives them a big dimension. I'm a bigger believer in their defense than most. When they get Von Miller back, I think they're going to be much stronger, and they're going to make a strong run. So I'm high on the Buffalo Bills. I'm buying all the stock in Buffalo Bills. And great comments. I love the comments that are coming through. Great comment by Brandon about the outrage when Mahomes gets the number one, but the others don't. So keep those comments coming. I love that.
I just think for me with the whole Super Bowl thing, I still think it's either Kansas City or Baltimore. I've always said this year I just want Buffalo or Baltimore to win the AFC. You know, if the Lions win the whole Super Bowl, that's what the Lions winning the Super Bowl is what I personally want. But the whole thing with just seeing how the Bills was playing, and Josh Allen, he hasn't thrown a pick this year, which miracle. Yeah. Like that's so I was like, hold on. Why is nobody talking about this? Wow. Like this is important. Like through 6 weeks, he has not thrown a pick. So I think Josh Allen is definitely an MVP candidate. He's in that mode. But again, I still think, and especially seeing what Lamar and Derrick Henry are doing right now, it's that could be tough to beat come playoff time. But I still think the Bills have the talent to, you know, make something shake in the AFC.
Mm-hmm. How many wins? What do you think their record ends up being now? They're 4-2 right now.
4-2.
I'm putting you on the spot with that, but you haven't really.
I mean, last year they snuck in the playoffs with basically not having the same amount of talent. So I'd say 12, maybe 12, 13.
Okay. Yeah, I went through and I've got them at 13-4. But I actually went through and looked. So yeah. If the schedule is pretty favorable, so I think they're by the Dolphins being down this year.
Yeah,
that helps a lot for sure. Then of course having New England in the division helps a lot too. So those are two big boosts there. All right, yeah. Well, let us know where do you guys have Buffalo going? Where do you have the Jets going? Give us the records. Give us all that stuff. We want to know your take on that. And also great comment by Josh too, as well. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to our picks, our week 7 picks. Brandon's got 12-5 for Bills. Okay, Brandon. I like that. So we have 15 games this week. 15 games. 2 teams are on bye. I know the Cowboys are on bye. And there's another team on bye. I can't think of who that team is. We had a Thursday night game. That game was awful. We had the Saints took a L, but that game is not even worth really diving into. Yeah. So we've got 15 games left, or 14 games left here. The Thursday morning game is the Patriots versus the Jags, again in London. The Jaguars are at home this time officially, although we know London is their true home. The Jags are 6-point favorite against the Patriots. Who do you have in this one, Chris?
I mean, you gotta have. It's one of those games where you gotta like choose someone. And honestly, I say the Patriots because of what Drake May has shown. The Jags just feel deflated at this point, and it just, I don't know what's going on. You have what everybody thinks is a great coach in Doug Peterson. You got, Trevor Lawrence, who you just paid all the money and he hasn't showed up. Brian Thomas Jr. looks good, but other than that, I don't know. So I got the Patriots in this one. Drake May continuing to show his improvement because he actually had it under the radar, like really, really interesting and good game versus Houston's defense last week. So I got the Patriots in this one.
Okay. All right. Okay. You got the Patriots in this one. Wow. Yeah. So I've got the Jazz. So myself, Desmond Clark from the Bears, who he's got his picks in, and Diego, we all have the Jags. So this was kind of one of our what we're calling no-brainers here. But you're going against the grain. You're going with the Patriots, the 6-point underdog Patriots. So, man, if you put something on this and it hit, you be sitting pretty nice, man.
Real pretty. Yeah, let's see it.
All right. Cool. So you going against the grain on this one. All right, well, let's go to the next one. We've got Seattle Seahawks traveling to Atlanta to play the Falcons. The Falcons are a 3-point favorite at home. I think we all, me, Diego, and Dez, all have the same team in this one. But who do you have in this one?
I have Atlanta. I just, the Seahawks are really banged up. Atlanta, again, versus, the team back here. They proved that they still got all that offensive firepower. They got Bijan and Tyler Algier going. So, I think they continue riding that hot streak. And, and they win.
Okay. See, Brandon. Okay. So, Brandon B., we see you say, okay, Brandon's got the Falcons. So, we all have the Falcons. We all believe that. Brandon said he's 4-2 in the PickemPros Fantasy League. Not too bad, Brandon. You're doing pretty well. We'll see when it comes to the playoff time, because when it comes to playoffs, we know I'm gonna close it out and win this thing. So all you guys are just playing for second in the PickemPro Fantasy League. But I tell you what, then we're gonna take this thing up another notch, because this is PickemPros. So there is the Sleeper app, which is a great app for picks and fantasy and all that type of stuff. What we're going to spin up, a PickemPros sleeper pool. Okay. We'll pick 'em pool. All right. And we're going to have a prize for the weekly winner of that. Okay. So everybody here that's watching, if you want to get in it, message us. Okay. So if it's on YouTube, send us, just message us. We'll reply to you with the link, or you can DM us on Instagram. So you can hit us on IG. We're the PickemPros. All right. The PickemPros. DM us. We'll send you the link. It's free to get in, and we'll have a prize for that. All right. And what we'll do is we'll announce it on the next week's show. So that's something that we'll have recurring as we go. So give everybody a chance to compete a little more and get in on the picks, and also pick against us and try to win a little something. So that's something we're going to put in here to sweeten the pot with PickemPros. All right. So let's move on to the next one here. We've got the Tennessee Titans at the Buffalo Bills. Wow. 9-point favorite.
Yeah.
Wild. You going against the grain, man?
Not at all. Let's go, Bills. Man.
Nothing else to say.
Man, this might look worse than Detroit and Dallas. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, okay.
It's gonna be ugly.
So you also have them covering the spread.
Yes, for sure.
Ooh. Okay, yeah. Josh said Bills by 15. Nice. Okay. Yeah, man. I think Bills for sure. We're all with the Bills, and we all probably have them covering the spread. This is going to be a blood. They're at home, and I don't think they've been at home for a while either. So they're going to be fired up and ready to go. Last time they were at home, they looked really good. So, yeah, they're going to put on the show. And they've got Cooper. I don't know if Amari's going to play in this first one, but I think they'll be fired up and ready to go. So they're going to put on the show. All right. So nothing else to say as we go into that one. So let's go to the next one here. We've got the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Josh's Cleveland Browns. Josh, one of our super subscribers here, going to his hometown. So the Bengals are 5.5-point favorites. I think Dez, Diego, and myself are all aligned with the same team here. Who you got, Chris?
Cincinnati Bengals. It's, they've gotten hot. I believe that, they could have beat Baltimore. They lost that one. defensive battle, but they still beat the Giants. I think this might be a closer defensive one because the Browns secondary always plays the Bengals receivers very well. But I do believe the Bengals will pull it out late in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do, man. That's a great point. I feel that if they put Jameis in and got that emotional boost, they might actually have a shot because the Browns do play the Bengals very well, especially in Cleveland. So traditionally, that is a tough one. So yeah, that's a good one. All right, yeah. And Josh said, he thinks they will play Amari Cooper in that game. All right. So next one, we've got Texans. Ooh, now this should be a very fun one to watch. I believe this is also 1 o'clock on the What's Up with the NFL with the times on these games. But a lot of the big time games are at 1. And they're missing the mark on a lot of these times this year. But Houston, Texas, travel to Green Bay to play the Packers. The Packers are a 2.5-point favorite at home. This is one where Desmond Clark, Diego, and myself all agree on one side. But who do you have?
I think Houston wins this one, and I do think that Jordan Love might have some issues versus that defense. I think he might throw a pick that kind of throws the game away. That might cost him the game, a costly turnover. And I have the Texans in a very close one, though. I think it's going to be a shootout between two great quarterbacks. But there's one who's a bit turnover prone who concerns me a little. So I'm going with the Texans in this one.
Okay. All right. You got the Texans on this one. So, Brandon has the Texans as well. Ooh, nice. Ooh, we got to do a little something with it. Josh has the Texans also. So myself, Diego, and Dez, we all have the Packers.
Wow.
We all have the Packers. This was one of our no-brainers, and that's funny. And for Dez to pick the Packers, something's up because Dez is the ultimate Packer hater, being a Chicago Bear. But we all have the Packers. A lot of that's probably because the Packers are at home. They look good there. And CJ and the Texans, they just haven't – I feel like something's been missing. They haven't truly been, what we thought they would be this year.
Yeah.
So that's got us a little shaky on this one.
I don't know. I feel like this might be the week where the Texans finally are like, okay, put up or shut up at this point, because I feel like last week versus the Patriots, it was like, okay, we got Joe Mixon back acclimated. We're getting ourselves together. I still don't have Nico Collins back, so that's still a bit of an issue. But I do believe Stephon and Tank are going to turn up. Like, I just, also need this for fantasy too, so that's another reason why I'm picking the Texans. But I do think one of these weeks is going to be, and I think it's this week where they're like, okay, let's show why they call it Super Bowl contenders. So I really think they got this.
Nice. And shout out to Athletes by Design. Saw they put a comment in and picked Houston. So yeah. Shout out to you. Athlete Pride. I mean, Athlete Pride. Shout out to you. Texas win easily. So yeah, I don't know, man. Especially with Nico being out, I think that hurts him. Now Diggs is the man. Diggs is a great receiver. Tank Dell, I think he's still, trying to, kind of working his way back. But without Nico, I think that also for us tilts it over to the Packers. But this would be good. And you see the it's not much of a spread here by being 4.5. So we'll see there. All right, love the comments on that one. All right, the next game. This is actually an island game for Diego. So Diego's on the island for this one. We've got the Miami Dolphins at the Indianapolis Colts. Indy is favored by 3. That shows you just how far the Dolphins have fallen without Tua. They are definitely struggling, although they did pull out the win last week or the week before. The last time they played, they pulled out the win. Diego got that one over Dez and myself. But who do you have in this one, Chris?
I would say the Colts. It's Flacco or Richardson starting, though, because that kind of might sway me. But I think that Flacco has kind of been like a steady ship at this point. and provides the veteran presence. And the one thing I'm wondering is why isn't he on like an actual team? Like, and he's just hey, I'm the relegated backup who gets hot, and this is cool. But I don't know. I think if Flacco keeps him steady, Dolphins defense has left much to be desired, and I don't know. I don't think the Dolphins look all together. I feel like Tua. We really underestimated how much of a heartbeat he is for that team and for that organization. So I got the Colts in this one.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Everybody's got the Colts in this one. All right. Yeah. So back to the athlete prod said the Tank Dell will shine as number 2 now with Nico being out. So that'll be interesting to see if he can shine as a number 2. So we will definitely see about that. But yeah, as far as this game, man, Diego has Indy. So Diego's with you guys. He has the Colts and they're the favorite. Dez and I, we both have the Dolphins. We've got Miami. I think, and a lot of that is, I think this is a desperation game for them. I don't think any of us have them doing much without Tua, but I think the Colts are a beatable opponent for them to really lay everything out. I think Daniels is going to have some great schemes in this game. Look for a big game for Mostert to come in. And I've got the Dolphins, and Des has the Dolphins in an update, in an upset here. So we've got here for this one. So again, hit us up, DM us on IG, the PickemPros, and we will send you a link to our PickemPros Pick'em group where you can pick all the games here, and the winner is going to get a prize. So winner's going to get a prize. I'm thinking, what do you think is a good prize, man? You think what should we do, like $100 Nike gift card? Does that sound good?
That'd be solid.
That'd be solid. All right, okay, that'll be solid. So we'll do on PickemPros, we'll do a $100 Nike gift card for this very first one. So DM us on IG at the PickemPros. Say, hey, I want to get in the pool, all right? And we'll send you the link to get in that. You've got to fill all your picks out before the first game on Sunday, and then we'll announce that winner each week, and that's something that we'll keep going. And we'll have different prizes, so we'll change the prize around. All right. I know Dez actually said this will be for the people in Chicago. He wants to throw a prize out there for the folks in Chicago to actually be able to go to a game with them, go to a Bear game. So that would be pretty hot right there. Yeah. So for our Chicago fans, you want to stay tuned because at some point we're going to drop that as a prize. So that's going to be really cool. All right. Okay. Ooh, this is a big one right here, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions go to Minnesota to play the Vikings. The Vikings are 1.5-point favorite at home. Lions looked great against the Cowboys last week, had a big blowout, lost. Hutchinson, though, big break, there with his leg. But, man, and actually, Dez, Diego, and myself all have one team in this one. But who do you have, Chris?
Okay. I'm thinking about two things. One, the Hutchinson loss, and the fact that Justin Jefferson always turns out versus these DBs. So that's like the one thing that's giving me pause. But I do think, weirdly, the Lions get the upset because, one, I believe it's the rallying around Hutch and the injury. And two, I've never seen – maybe this is because I'm young, but like I've never seen a Detroit team come out with that much fury, passion. I'm like, oh, no, we're going to humiliate these dudes that they have versus the Cowboys. And while I do believe the Vikings have a very capable defense to slow them down, I think that it might come down to a late drive and Jared Goff gets them to win. So on a field goal. So I think this is going to be like one of the game winner by field goal type games. I think the Lions get it.
Yeah, we're all aligned. So athlete pride, Brandon, all of us, we all have the Lions in this one.
Yeah.
I think it's just time for Minnesota to lose. I think a lot of it is because we all thought they would be at the bottom of the division. They've shocked a lot of people. Okay, Sam Darnold, is he really for real? I think athlete pride said this is the week he gets exposed. So they've had some big wins. I mean, they've had some legit wins. So it definitely is not a fluke. I mean, the Vikings are good. They beat the Packers in Green Bay, have looked really good. But think this is the week where they get that loss. And Josh also, has the Lions 31-28. So, I think even without Hutch, I think they rally around him and the Lions come out. And this is a divisional game. I think they come out, pull out all the stops, and try to get this. I think the Lions want to have the best record, have that home field, because Ford Field is a great place to play. They would love to have that home field throughout the playoffs if possible, and try to ride that to the Super Bowl. So they're going to pull everything out and go for this one big time. All right. So looking forward to that one. But again, that's another 1 o'clock special for us on Sunday.
NFL, we got to do something. We got to talk to these schedule makers, man. They got to do better.
Exactly. All right. Next game, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to MetLife Stadium to play the Giants. The Eagles are a 3-point favorite. I am actually on an island with this one. But between Dez and Diego. But Chris, who do you have in this one, man?
Really, I think this is going to be close because of the Giants' defense, and the Eagles played down to a much worse team in the Browns last week, where they had to squeak out a win. So I had the Eagles in a close one, though. I believe they're still more talented at the key positions, but I do believe the Giants are going to make this close. I believe that, that their defense is going to first, maybe a couple Jalen Hurts turnovers, and it gets a little dicey coming the fourth, but that's when Jalen likes to show up. So, I got the Eagles
that's true. Yeah, good point. Okay, Josh has Eagles. I think Brandon has Eagles. Diego has Eagles. Dez has Eagles, although initially when Dez sent his picks in, it showed the Giants, but he said that was a mistake. So he's corrected it and said he has the Eagles, that he would never pick the Giants in this. But I'm actually going with the Giants in this one. I think they pull this out. I like how the Giants are looking, man. Neighbors is back. So like Josh said, that's good for the Giants. And Daniel Jones not playing too bad. And the Eagles aren't playing all that well. They still have not had that dominating good performance. They have not looked great this year. Eagles have just been able to limp by because of who they've played so far this year. But I think this is the perfect game. And the Giants always play the Eagles well. Even last year when the Giants were really terrible, and earlier in the season when the Eagles were playing better, the Giants would steal one off of them. So I'm going with the upset on this one. I've got the Giants. And this is the game. This is the one that's going to get me the chain and get me back into the winning column and make my way back into this thing.
Let's see.
Right?
Let's see. I don't know. When everybody else is like, hey, man. hey, we're going to see, though. We're going to see.
We're going to see. All right. We're going to see. And, man, hey, baseball update. Although the Mets scored another one, Dodgers are kind of climbing back in it. So we'll see if they can close this out. It was 10-2. They cut it to 10. It was 10-6. Now it's 11-6. So we're going to talk baseball next here, Brandon. But they're starting to make that a little bit of a game. All right. So let's move on to the next football game here. We've got a few more to give our official picks on. We've got the Las Vegas Raiders, the Davante Adams Raiders, are going to LA to play the Rams. Rams are a 7-point favorite. Wow. That's saying a lot. I believe we all are on the same page on this one. Dez, Diego, and myself. Chris, who do you have in this one, man?
At the Rams, and also Max Crosby has one of those Davante Adams, my ankle injuries. So, yeah, it might be curtains for the Raiders season after this. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I hate to see. I had Antonio Pierce as a dark horse for Coach of the Year. That looks like that's not happening. So, I got the Rams winning this one.
Wow. Yeah. It doesn't look good for the coach of the Raiders this year. And I picked the Raiders to finish last in the division this year. It looks like that's definitely going to happen. Rams win this one for sure. That team is in turmoil. And if Crosby is not playing, that says a whole lot, because Crosby is a true warrior and trooper, and is always trying to be out there. So yeah.
He said something about like, hey, wherever I go, I'm gonna give 100%. And again, he was this whole off season, it was a whole like Raider till I die, we're down,
Yeah.
we're gonna see. But with Davante being gone, I feel like, it's right on the wall. And he wants to win. Like that's really what he wants at this point. Weirdly enough, I want Detroit to get him just so, we get to see him as a good pass rusher to kind of offset the loss of Aiden Hutchinson. And if Detroit pays him when Aiden comes back, that would be a really cool pass rushing duo. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
All right. We'll see how it goes. Okay. We've got about 5 more here to touch on. Man, we've got your Carolina Panthers, got the banner there in the background, repping Carolina. So we definitely know who you're going with on this one. Panthers travel to Washington to play the Commanders. Washington is a whopping 8-point favorite, but who cares about the line? Vegas is not always right. Go ahead and tell us how bad the Panthers are going to beat the Commanders this week, Chris.
Oh, no, the Panthers are going to lose by like at least 20. That's nope. I've lost all aspersions on this season. Andy Dalton's going to look good for about 2 drives, throw a dumb pick. We don't get the ball to Chuba Hubbard, and then we go lose. So, I'm calmly saying it's over. It's let's start the draft. I saw some interesting trade ideas. For me, I'm saying let's not trade Deontay Johnson. Everybody else, though, don't trade Deontay Johnson or Chuba. But hey, if you want to let go, if you want to let Mingo walk, if you want to let Bryce walk, let him walk. I don't know. Jaden's gonna play well. I mean, he turned up versus the Ravens defense, and they already have like way better quality starters on their side of the ball than we do. So we're losing by at least 20. I'm not too worried. That game will not be put on.
Yeah. And let's keep the question up. Well, I want to get to this question here in a second. But before we address that, as far as this game goes, so Dez, Diego, and myself, Diego being the ultimate Panther homer, he also has a Commander. So we all have the Commanders in this one. I think the delusion is over with Panther fans. Although I like how the offense is looking. Man, the offense is looking good. We just have to get that, defensive side of the ball together and be able to make some stops. So if they can build on that, I love how, quarterback is looking and the offensive side of the ball. We just have to get the defensive side there. But Athlete Prod is asking us, would you rather have Williams or Daniels for your future?
Okay. It's way too early to call. But are we talking like on our specific teams or like on their teams for the future? Because that's a different question. Now, I take Jaden. Like, listen. But if we're talking about their specific teams with the talent that they have, I like Caleb with the more skill position talent that he has.
Yeah.
But I do think Jaden has already proven how special he is. And but again, I think it might be one of those Lamar situations where it's like he becomes like a one-of-one type person. And then Caleb is like, oh yeah, like he's very good and he's, he works in this offense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough. That's a great question. A couple weeks ago, I think that probably would have been Daniels hands down for most people, but now Williams is starting to bring that up. Okay, so on your team, so yeah, for the Panthers, the way the Panthers are constructed, I'd say Caleb.
Yeah,
I think I think we see that with our quarterback who's on the bench now.
Bryce Young.
I can't think of his name. Bryce Young. Sorry. I want to forget right here. But yeah, for Bryce Young, we see that the offense just doesn't really fit him. I think Bryce Young would really look good in Miami with that offense. So I think Bryce Young just needs to be in the right system. But as overall, I would still probably take Williams. I like what I'm seeing from him now. He's looking better and better. I think he has more raw drop back quarterback talent. Again, Daniels is a beast. I think Daniels is. I think they're both going to be great. So I love to have them both. But at this point, from what I've seen so far, and just looking into the future, I think Williams is a little more versatile. And I think at the end of the day, Williams is going to end up being a better quarterback than Daniel. So yeah. But it's great debate, great question. All right, so let's move on to the next one. We've got the Chiefs and 49ers. Woo! 4 o'clock game here, or maybe 4:25 p.m. Eastern. This should definitely be Sunday night or Monday night. I don't know why this isn't, but hey. It is what it is. The 49ers are a 2-point favorite at home. Still no McCaffrey. Think they have officially listed his injury as an Achilles now. So that's very, very interesting there. Hey, anybody?
Hey, he's fine. He's healthy. We're good going into week 1. It's all fine. Achilles injury. Where was this? And I feel bad for all the people who do fantasy and chose him number 1. And then when you get that week 1 text, you're like, oh, he's injured. Oh, he'll be back next week. Oh, no, it's Achilles injury. Both like I just feel like
that's rough.
What that thing with the Niners is like why I kind of have an issue with them. And again, you see how their running backs have performed in that system. So, Jordan Mason and Isaac Guerrero, they've both done their thing, so I'm not too worried about the running back specific thing. But I do think that Christian offers a different element because he's simply that good. Yeah. But in this game, I don't know who I'm picking, but it's tough because I want to see the 49ers get their revenge because one of my favorite moments of last season was seeing like San Francisco get back on the Eagles after the NFC Championship. Like seeing like Debo go crazy and the Niners like scored like 6 straight touchdowns or some crazy stuff like that. That was really cool. So, you know what? I'm picking the Niners in this one. I might be wrong. The Chiefs voodoo magic might still be real, but I'm like, hey, they gotta lose to a good team somehow. So let's see the Niners pull this one out.
Yeah. So we all have Diego, Des, and myself. We all have the Chiefs in this, which I'm shocked. I'm shocked we all have it, but we all kind of are doing, blind picks, so we're not seeing what the others picking here. And I think it's probably more the standpoint of none of us probably wanted to be wrong about the Chiefs, so we just picked the Chiefs. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm sure if we saw each other's picks, one of us would have at least gone with the 49ers. But we all have the Chiefs in this one. Looking forward to this matchup. I'm sure the 49ers will be fired up, so they will have the emotion. Yeah, refs easily win.
Yeah.
Nice. Love that. Yeah, Diego would back that up for sure. So yeah. All right. So let's see. We've got 3 more. We've got the Sunday night game. We've got the Jets at Steelers. Jets are 2-point favorite on the road against the Steelers. And I think we all have the same one. Des, Diego, and myself all have the same team in this one. Who you got?
I got the Jets. The Steelers are, 6 weeks in, 4-2, and now they have a quarterback controversy, which, typical Steeler football, man. It's just every time you think, oh, they're fine, they're turning the corner, there's not a dysfunctional thing, you got the whole, hey, Russell Wilson wants to play now. So, hey, that's
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
He wants to play.
Let's see the Jets win this. The Jets are it's going to be another ugly Jets-Steelers game, low scoring. I don't predict that it's going to be higher than maybe 23 points on each side. This is going to be ugly, but it'll be a good game.
Yeah. This is as Athlete Pro said, we all want fields. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see the facial expression on Russell Wilson in this game. So because I think he's going to look terrible, but yet he's going to sit there and have the composed, everything is okay look, which is probably going to infuriate Steeler fans even more. So That's going to be an interesting game to see. But nah, man, the Jets are going to put it all on the table. They're going to come out firing. Rodgers is probably going to throw 30 passes to Davante. They're going to break a record in targets this game. They're going to be ready and get this one. So, yeah, I think the Jets definitely get this one. So I think everybody's got them. All right. So the next game, we've got 2 Monday night games, which I do not like the 2 Monday night game thing. I get, maybe they do it because I guess if one is bad, you got another one to flip to. So I kind of see from that standpoint, but I don't know. What do you think about the 2 Monday night game thing?
I mean, I saw a stat that they're basically doing it because so basically ABC is going to get like the Super Bowl in like I think 2 or 3 years, right? So they're trying to like establish an audience to like get used to the network and get used to everything. So that's why they've like started to do the 2 Monday night games, more of that. Now, I think it's annoying because weirdly enough, with these Monday night games, you have like you get a classic and then you get like a trash blowout. So and you don't know which one you're going to get. Now, the Ravens-Bucks one, that's going to be a classic because I believe they match up really well. I am not all the way assured in this Ravens defense right now. Plus, the Bucks just put up 51 on the Saints. They might come in, guns a-blazing. So, I still got the Ravens in this one. Okay. But I do think the Bucks are definitely going to make this more of a game than everybody thinks. So,
okay. Yeah. We all have Des Diego and myself. We all have the Ravens winning this one. Side question: what do you think about the MV3 that's going on with Lamar Jackson?
Listen, I have no faith in the media members in choosing it right sometimes, so that's what's gonna take me off. But and I do think that Derrick Henry might take some votes away from Lamar Jackson just because of how dominant he is, and the fact that he might have 2,000 yards rushing this season. Like, I don't know. Can you be like? Is it true that Lamar Jackson is like the reason why the Ravens succeed and are doing so well? Yes. Is it also true that if they have a 2,000-yard rusher in the backfield, it's going to be very hard to vote for that guy's MVP because it's like, well, that guy behind him doing the read option, he ran for 2,000 yards. So I personally think Lamar is leading the MVP candidates. But again, if Derrick Henry keeps playing the way he's playing, I believe eventually during the season, it's like, okay, these guys are too good. We can't award it. So it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's kind of like the Joker basketball. Before Joker won a title.
Yeah.
And when he had to, and then it was like, okay, he's ineligible until he wins the championship. And then the same thing that happened with the Greek Freak. I think that's kind of the case with Lamar. Even if he has the numbers for it, I think he's somewhat banned from winning MVP until he gets a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't even think he should want to have it because that puts more attention and emphasis on the fact that he wouldn't have a Super Bowl. So I think everyone else there has to be a crazy gap for him.
Look at Aaron Rodgers. Like, he has like 4 of them. He's only won 1 Super Bowl, and he's constantly talking about getting back to that was way more important than him just winning MVP for the regular season. So I just think that in Lamar's case, especially like after what happened last year when they should have won the Super Bowl, everybody knows the Ravens were a better team than the Chiefs that year. It's just Chiefs come playoff time, they just turn into a completely different team. But I believe we need to be hoping for a Super Bowl MVP than just regular season MVP at this point, because we all know, we're all seeing he's been playing better, and he's now like has like a mastery of Tom Monken's offense, and then with the way like he's getting the ball to everybody, I think again it's highly possible they could win it, but I think we should be focused on Super Bowl MVP, not the regular season anymore. I think we're past that at this point with Lamar.
And I'm gonna answer the question from Roy here in a second, but to go back to the MVP though, so interesting. I see Josh Allen making a big push now, having Cooper. They go on a run, don't lose any games. That's gonna be. I think he'll definitely be in the mix because he always makes a late charge for MVP anyway.
Yeah.
Now having Cooper, they'll have the record, and so he'll be in the mix. But if Minnesota beats Detroit and they're still undefeated and they get deeper in the season, it's going to be hard to not have Sam Darnold in the mix. So
as a Panthers fan, a Sam Darnold MVP would be the most hilarious and sad outcome ever. Like we're just like, how is this even possible? Like, what do you do as a fan at that point? We're like, oh,
that would be crazy. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. But Roy, man, thanks for joining. 49er guy, Homer. Man, I've got the Chiefs in this one. Not really pulling for the Chiefs. I'm good with the Niners winning. You know how I love the Niners over the Chiefs, but I don't know, man. The Niners just have not. The Niners have been up and down. They've not looked good. They have the emotional advantage, but Chiefs are going to be ready. The Chiefs are going to be rested, and I just don't trust. I just don't trust the Niners this year. They just don't look right. Debo's still banged up. Kevin McCaffrey with the Achilles now. So Roy, man, I've got to go with the Chiefs in this one. We'll not be mad if the Niners pull it off, but for picking, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Chiefs in this one. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next one, the last one here. Let's see. We've got Chargers versus Cardinals. And Diego's on the island for this one. So this is actually an island game for him. So Chargers are the favorite, 2.5-point favorite, going into Arizona. Who do you have in this one, Chris?
I have the Chargers. You know, they're just – I don't believe the Cardinals have the requisite talent to kind of keep up with the Chargers, especially with that run game. And then on top of that, Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't look like he's going to be healthy for this game. So he's out with a concussion. So, I'm leaning more towards the Chargers than this one, not going to lie.
That definitely hurts. Yeah. So Diego has the Chargers in this one for sure. Dez and I both were going with the Cardinals in this one. I'm more or less going with the Cardinals because the Cardinals have been great in their division, and they've been terrible against everyone else.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals clearly have something. It's like they've just studied for the division opponents, and they're playing lights out against them. And with Harrison, if Harrison come back, then I really feel good about it. But yeah, they've looked great against the divisional opponents. It's Monday night. It's prime time. Kyler Murray, lights will be bright. I think he'll be, scattering all around. And I think they pull out the upset in this one. That's just how they've been fluky like that. And the Chargers have as well. As soon as you want to think, okay, the Chargers have Harbaugh and they're going to run over everybody, then they go and lose to Denver. So, it's just, they've been all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, man. So, hey, let's move on to Brandon. I think we got you backstage. We're going to go ahead and switch to baseball here. And let's go ahead and bring in our guy to talk a little bit of baseball. We've got it on right now.
What up, Brandon?
What's up, Brandon?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing good.
Good. So, man, we've talked NFL. Now we're going to go into some baseball and basketball with you. So you hit me up, man. As soon as you saw we were talking basketball, you're like, man, I got to get on. So, yeah, we definitely have to tap into that mind of yours. But we also have to tap into it for baseball. So looking here, we see the Mets are up 11-6 on the Dodgers right now. Dodgers are up 3-1. And then you've got the Yankees up 3-1 on Cleveland. But are they just stretching it out? Are we on the path for the inevitable for a Dodgers-Yankees World Series?
It's crazy because that's like the best. I would say this. It's the best possible matchup left.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be it's crazy that in the history of baseball, these two teams never met in the World Series.
That is crazy.
So for it to finally happen, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everybody kind of still don't want that to happen because it's obviously these are the two most hated teams out in baseball.
Yeah.
Obviously, because you got the LA market and the New York market. And yeah, it would be like, it would crazy enough, it would save, I guess, like the World Series in terms of like viewership and money
Yeah.
being brought in and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I think it's like, I mean, in a 7-game series, stranger things have happened, even in baseball. I mean, whereas like I remember when the Guardians was up 3-1 against the Cubs in the World Series, and the Cubs came back and won it in 7 games. So
Yeah.
like it's a must win for the Guardians. I
Yeah.
see what the Mets are doing. So it ain't over till it's over. That's how I look at it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So not over till it's over. We know Dodgers Yankees would be wild for the ratings. But yet there still would be people hating on that. What's your prediction on who's in the World Series and who you got winning it all?
If it ends up being Yankees Dodgers, I would probably have to go with it. One is going to be a 6-7 game series. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think I would go with the Dodgers. I think Dodgers wins in 6. I'll give it about 6 games. I think they'll win in 6 if that matchup comes about. But I know for a fact it's going to go 6 or 7 games.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that happening there. Josh says Dodgers. Yeah, I would say I've had Dodgers from the beginning here. Now you could also have the Subway Series, which we've had before. Yankees and Mets, that's a possibility. So there's a lot of different scenarios here. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, it looks like Mets will probably close this out and push it to take it back to LA as they'll resume that series on Sunday. And then we've got the Yankees and the Guardians will pick up tomorrow. So we'll see what happens there. But I think this will end up being Dodgers Yankees for sure. All right. Well, man, later tonight, we've got the Lynx versus the Liberty. Man, this is going to be wild. So are the Liberty, are they going to close this out tonight, or the Lynx, like I said from the beginning, going to go ahead and take this to 5 and then close it out there?
I feel like if you ask me, I kind of want a 5-game series because it's probably like, I know this is going to be the last year before they go into a 7-game series for the WNBA Finals. So I kind of want the Lynx to force a game 5.
Okay.
Because it gives, obviously, the drama and it's the right ending of the story to tell for the whole 5-game series set in the W before they, pivot to a 7-game series for the WNBA Finals. But it comes down now. If it's not, then it'll be thanks to Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart.
Yeah. It's gonna be close there. And Josh, we see you picking the Liberty because he picked the Liberty from the beginning. So he desperately needs a win. So he's pulling for the Liberty to get this and wants to get something on me. He's still a little sad because I spanked him in fantasy a couple weeks ago. But Josh, I'm gonna snatch your heart out of your chest once again. See, this is gonna make it even more painful. Being up 2-1. Then y'all gonna lose tonight and then lose game with Josh. I don't know how I'm gonna console you, man. I don't know how I'm gonna console you, brother. So I feel bad for you, Josh. But Chris, who you got in this one, man?
I have Liberty closing it out. I believe that Sabrina hit one of the most deflating shots I've ever seen in the history of the sport. And, I feel like you can play teams close enough, but once something like that happens, you kind of get taken out. You're just like, you know what? It becomes demoralizing at a point. So I believe that the Liberty will pull this out and they'll close out the series tonight.
Okay. All right. So we've got, I think everyone pretty much has Liberty, which makes sense. Liberty's a very strong team. That was a back-breaking shot there, although the Lynx had their great comeback. So it's been, it's swung many different directions here. The Lynx came back from 18 game one. Liberty had an amazing shot there, Kobe Bryant style, and pulled that out. So we'll see what happens here. Can't wait to see that. Excited that we've got such a great series, and I think everyone would love to see that go 5 just for the drama of that. So that'll be great to see there. All right. Well, let's move on to NBA preview. So this is going to be a 2-week thing. Okay. So today, just want to talk high level about the NBA. I believe the season starts on Tuesday. So can't wait for that. There's a ton of storylines. Of course, you've got the Lakers with, Bronny and LeBron. You got that. You've got Golden State moving on without Clay. You've got Dallas, Minnesota, the Knicks. There's so many storylines. So it's wild. But I want to go a little more high level today. And then next week, Diego, myself, Chris, we're going to have our seeds. We're going to give you the seeds for the East and West, 10 through 1, and break all that down. But today we're going to talk more high level and talk about NBA Finals and a couple of the storylines. So, Chris, let's start with you, man. Who you got coming out the East? Who you got coming out the West? And winning it all as you see right now? It might change once we get to the playoffs, but what do you see right now?
So as I see it right now, and because I have a bet with one of my close friends, I believe it will be Knicks Thunder in the finals. Now, I do believe that New York adding Cat is a huge plus to a team that already was deep and already was performing well. And Jalen Brunson has blossomed into a star. I believe him and Cat as a big man and point guard, bro, that's just going to be something special. And they still have all their great defenders who can help lock down the people who play, lock down everybody who plays on the Celtics. So I think that could be very interesting. Now, I do think if it's Knicks Celtics in the conference finals, the team with the more experience, it scares me a little, but I gotta stick to my guns and stick to my bet. And then the Thunder, they were already a 1 seed in the best conference without having a true big man, and they have that in Hartenstein. They have another good defender in Caruso. Shea's an MVP candidate. Jaden, you're gonna see Jaden and Chet take a step forward. I think that we can't do this thing that we did with Boston, where it's just like, oh, they're away, they're like a season away, and then they finally win. I feel like this is one of the times where no, they've proven how good they are. They just need to show up now. Like now is the time where they can be like, okay, this is our conference, this is our league, and we're turning up. And I like the fact that the younger players are showing up more, and the old guard we're kind of seeing slowly fade away. That's one thing that I'm enjoying seeing towards this season, towards this specific season of the NBA, seeing like the young guard really take hold and take shape in the league.
Yeah, that's been cool to see. We started to see that last year, and definitely we'll continue to see that going into this year. Okay, so that's what you've got. Brandon, who you got in the finals this year right now?
I mean, Minnesota, OKC look real good, but I got like when you got Jokic out there, and I'm like, I don't know what this man do in the offseason, but it's like he just like, all right, just roll the ball out. I'm finna just put up 25, 12, and 8, and that's just me. And it's hard to go against that every single night. And you can't ask for like Jamal Murray is not gonna get injured again, probably. So that's why I got Denver coming out of the West.
Okay. And
the East, Porzingis, whether he's there or not, I got the Celtics coming out the West. I think it was almost close last year that we got Celtics Nuggets. Yeah. So I'm going back with the same pick. I think it's gonna be Celtics Nuggets for the finals.
I'd love to see that.
And I just need both teams healthy. I mean, I got Boston repeating as champions. Okay. I just need both of them to be healthy. So it'd be like a 6-7 game series. So yeah, I have like it's gonna be Boston and Denver.
Boston and Denver. Okay. Boston and Denver. Yeah, a lot of people, I think Diego, as of right now, we'll make it official next week, but he has Boston and Minnesota. And I believe that's what Josh put in is that. I would say Boston as well. The Knicks, I like what they've done, but I just don't trust them to be healthy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
The Tibbs factor in it all. Is scary.
Yeah, with Tibbs and everything, I don't trust it. They'll limp into the playoffs, fight, be gritty and all that, take team 7 and all that stuff, but they'll be too hurt to do anything. So I think the Celtics make it there for sure. The West, man, it's so tough. I really wanted to go Denver, but I'm concerned about Jamal Murray. He didn't look good in the Olympics. I just don't know if he's going to be all the way where he needs to be. And I don't trust Porter and Gordon to play major role. Like if Murray is hurt, I don't trust them to be able to step up and take up the slack. You know, they're cool 3rd and 4th guys, but I don't trust them to be able to step up when needed. And they've lost some people. They're not as deep as they've been. So that's the only reason I'm not going with them, although I'd love to see them. OKC, I feel that they're still young and early, although they were the #1 seed last year and then pushed Dallas as far as anybody outside of, Boston beating them. So I was really impressed with how they looked against them. And that could have gone either way. But I think Dallas is gonna get back. I'm going with you hardly see this except when it was the Cavs and Warriors. But I'm going with the repeat of the finals. I'm going Mavs Boston to run it back. But Mavs have all the motivation. Oh man, they'll be fired up. You got Clay in the mix now. That's going to be like Ray Allen when he went to Miami. And you got Luka coming back. Luka hopefully will be in shape, be healthy. Kyrie will get the Boston demons out of his head and be able to actually play like he did throughout the rest of the playoffs in Boston. And I think Dallas gets it. I'm gonna go ahead and go with that. We'll do the full breakdown next week, but my early pick, I'm gonna go Dallas.
All right.
Yeah. So you may see a visit of Jerry Jones on that one as we get closer. All right, can't wait for that. Well, hey Brandon, man, before you go, you have any takes on? Tell you what, let's talk about one more thing here. Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, I'd love to get both of your takes on Memphis, and then we'll leave basketball on that. Brandon, where do you see Memphis falling this year?
They're in the play-in, but they could supersede their expectations.
Okay.
For as like obviously the return of Ja Morant, you drafted Edey, you had Jackson, you had Bane, you have Smart, and then you got the second unit. So it's like I think it's like they kind of like one of those teams that everybody forgot about that, that's coming back on a mission, that's trying to saying, hey, don't forget about us. Don't sleep on us. Like, so they're one of the teams that, could be a force to reckon with.
Okay. Yeah, so play in. Will they make it out of the play-in and be one of the teams actually in the playoffs? Or you think they
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
They'll be like an A seed or something, either 7th or A seed, however. Yeah.
All right. Okay. What about you, Chris? I think you're higher on Memphis.
Listen, I've had this feeling about them since Since after all the injuries last year, after seeing their progression the past 3 or 4 years, I believe they're at least going to be a top 4 seed. I think I have them at 4, but I think that with Ja fully healthy, locked in, and focused, Desmond Bain developed his game with all the injuries and everything going on, so he learned how to turn up even without Ja being there. You still have Jaren Jackson. They have Edie, like you said, and again the bench mob. And Taylor Jenkins is a really good coach. It's just they were decimated last year. I really believe that the Grizzlies are going to be one of the surprises of the season, but because if you saw how they were playing, they had that OKC hype before, everything that happened with Ja. So I believe that if we get the sheer action free Ja, everything's focused, everybody's locked in on the mission and the goal, they're a top 4 seed in the West.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Top 4. Yeah, I'm kind of somewhere in between. So I would say I think they'll finish, if I had to guess now, I say 5 or 6 is probably, I'll give you an exact ranking to next week. But as of right now, I'd have to say 5 or 6. I think they finish above play-in, but I don't know if they'll be top 4. You have to take into account injuries now. I mean, Ja battled injuries even before last year. So just with his style of play, he's always susceptible to that. So that's my concern. And they're so Ja heavy that he just not to, even if it's not a season or anything, if he just missed a couple weeks, the West is so loaded and the West is going to be separated by just a game or two that, him being out a couple weeks could be the difference in that. So if I had to say right now, I'd say that, but can't wait to see. They're going to be a team when I'm flipping through the channels. I'll definitely be looking.
Oh yeah, those Grizzlies Wolves games are going to be like, that's what I'm waiting for. That's what's got me excited for this season.
That's going to be nasty. Can't wait to see that. All right, Brandon. Well, hey man, can't wait to follow everything with you. I know we'll be messaging and everything, and man, enjoy the games this weekend, my man.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Ooh, all right. So that's our guy, Brandon. I always love to have him on and school us on, especially some of the other sports, because man, Brandon follows everything. So he's got all the hockey, all of that. Brandon's following it all. So we love to get his take on all that. All right. Well, man, we're gonna finish up with music like we did last time. So again, you're getting closer to starting generational music debates. Your new podcast coming out. You're talking about music and amongst the different generations of people. So we're really excited to see that. I know you're getting your topic list together, getting your guest list together. So we're truly looking forward to that, and we'll be supporting that. But why don't you go ahead and take us through our top 5 list and debate on music for today?
All right. So we are talking about top 5 hip hop producers of all time. Now, you cannot tell the story about hip hop without the producers, without the people behind the boards making the hits, and basically churning out stuff that basically defined eras, defined genres, defined sounds of just like states and regions. I really believe that with the hip hop producers that I've chosen, that you can't define hip hop without them. So I'm gonna do 5 to 1.
Yep.
Now 5 is my dark horse sleeper, very modern pick. I have Drake's producer 40. Now, if you think everybody doesn't acknowledge how much he had a hand in basically shaping Drake's music, and everybody since then has tried to make the moody, very high emotional, very just darker R&B sound, R&B and rap sound that Drake just kind of struck gold with. You see that with classics on Take Care. You see that with a song called Tuscan Leather, where he basically flips one of Whitney Houston's best songs, and Drake just goes absolutely insane on it. And I believe that for me, we can't talk about basically the best artist of his era without his right hand man in 40. So I definitely wanted to shout out him.
I like
Number
that.
4, organized noise. Basically,
Oh, yeah.
sound, basically the sound behind Outkast and the Revival, and basically the reason why there's a music renaissance in the South and why the South is here to stay.
Oh, that's a good
Listen,
one. Good one.
You are doing the behind the boards work for what everybody considers possibly the most flawless discography in hip hop. You got to be on this list. I am so grateful for what they've done. Basically, just like, hey, we're gonna give Andre 3000 a big boy these beats. We're gonna let him cook, and it was just something special. So definitely got them. Number 3, this is just a personal favorite of mine. Juicy J, DJ Paul, the whole 3-6 Mafia, purely because again, the Memphis sound is so influential, and it's one of the lasting parts of hip hop that is still stuck to this day. Like, just with the dark beats, just even like the content, the samples, everything. Just I love Juicy J and DJ Paul, and you cannot listen to any rap song now without hearing at least one 3-6 Mafia sample. So I definitely wanted to shout them out. Number 2, again, this is recency bias. Again, I'm 22 years old. I am Metro Boomin. Now, to me, I think after everything he did this year, and then in its entirety of hip hop, you can't tell the story of hip hop of the 2010s and the 2020s without Metro. Like, I really think that, especially this year, he got into a different bag, especially with working with Future on both of these albums. But even outside of working with Future, like all the production he's had, and basically how he's basically like the creator of the sound of what rap sounds like now is really cool. Yeah. And then my number 1, it's a tie again. It's Pharrell and Timbaland, because I cannot listen. I believe that they produced some of the greatest hip hop songs ever, and you just sit,
no doubt,
and you just sit back and pull up their classics, and people will argue like who produces better, or like what did they do, and they're from the same area. So I had to shout both of them out, because I believe it's like one of those, you can't have one without the other, especially in hip hop. Yeah. And yeah, I believe, to me, Timbaland's probably my personal favorite, but I had to give love to Pharrell just because of what he did. I have a question for you. I said this and my friends kind of looked at me crazy. I was like, I feel like Pharrell made Snoop Dogg a little bit more of the fun, energetic. You saw the more fun, unserious, more commercial side of Snoop Dogg. Versus you get the G-Funk with Dr. Dre. I've always wondered, like, who do you say like impacted Snoop's career overall better? Was it Dre or was it Pharrell? That's my toughest debate. Now, I personally say Pharrell is like a huge part of like why Snoop is like so marketable now, why everybody can like be like, hey, Snoop, Martha Stewart, Snoop at the Olympics, is because of everything he did basically with Pharrell. Okay. So that's just something real interesting to me. But yeah, I have Pharrell and Timbaland as my number 1 producers of hip hop all time.
I like that.
Kanye. Okay. Again.
Ye was definitely nice, and I'm seeing Ye in a lot of lists here. So yeah, this is a tough one. Like, I was with Diego when I was kind of making my list, and this is one where I don't like honorable mentions, because it's like, nah, make your list. People are not going to make the list. But I literally have like 5 or 6 honorable mentions on this, just to even let people know, hey, I know about all these other producers. Yeah, but these are the ones.
Like, yo, I'm a hip hop connoisseur. I know I'm leaving out like Dr. Dre, Premier, RZA. Like,
oh god,
I'm leaving out a bunch of people. I'm sorry. Just Blaze is like my dark horse, like producer all time. But like, I believe that these 5 have kind of defined hip hop in this like modern era. So
this is a tough one. So okay, so I love what I'm seeing on the list here. So I'm gonna go through some of my honorable mentions, people that just didn't make it, but just I'm gonna list some people. So Kanye was one of my honorable mentions. He did not make my top 5. Might be sinful by me being from Chicago, not putting them on there. So I might not be a little
crazy.
All right. Daz Daz Dillinger. Daz did a lot of the West Coast beats with Pac and all that. A lot of the beats where people thought it was Dre was actually Daz. So Daz was an amazing producer. A lot of people, again, that's more my era. That's why it's cool for the generations to talk about this, because you hear about people that may not be on the radar. So Daz, Beats by the Pound did a whole lot. They remind me of what was the Organized Noise?
Yeah.
Organized Noise for the South. Beats by the Pound did a lot of the No Limit stuff.
Oh,
so
okay.
they were doing like all of that type. So they kind of were like that New Orleans sound when that was coming up. They did a lot of that. So there were honorable mentions. Swiss Beats. Swiss did a whole lot. I mean, a lot of T.I., a lot of all that. Oh man. DJ Mustard, right? And I had him initially, with not like us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's, again, so many people. You're gonna leave people out. So these are all the people that I left out. But my number 5, like you, I had Metro Boomin.
Okay.
I have him in my top 5. I had to put him on there. He did so much. I love your pick about 40 though. So I actually didn't realize you're schooling me on that, because I didn't know he was behind a lot of that Drake music. So I have to go and see all of what he's
basically him, Boy Wonder, and there's like another producer I'm forgetting. But basically 40 is like the right hand, like he's like the one in basically constructing everything with Drake. Like, and again, with all the stuff he produced on like Take Care and Nothing Was the Same, I was like, I have to put you on this Sesame. Like those are the modern classics.
I like that. I like that. And now, so my 4 through 1 is going to totally be my era. So I'm totally showing my age of where I'm at. Number 4, I've got Jermaine Dupri. Yeah.
That hurts. That hurts. Oh my God.
I mean, all the stuff he's done, and then his versatility. He brought Mariah Carey back, producing that album for her. She was big, and then the album that he did for her really kind of gave her another run. So JD was nasty. Number 3, I've got Timberland. Got him there. He, again, and what I love about Timberland is he had a revolutionary sound that really changed the game. So it's hard to write the story of hip hop and music and all that without him, because when his style came out, I was like, whoa, what in the world? What is this? It was definitely different. Number 2, I've got Pharrell. All of what he's done, and I love what you said though about him working with Snoop. That is very interesting, because he did bring a different side of Snoop in, and those are definitely different songs. So I like what you said about that. But number 1, I gotta have Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre, I cannot write the story without the doctor, especially my era. There is nobody better than Dr. Dre. And the thing that's interesting about his beats is a lot of them, there's nothing crazy to them. There's nothing typically crazy complex. A lot of them are very simple, but his beats also, most of them are timeless. They're just classic, timeless beats to where you hear them 20 years later and they still.
The next episode still goes up like every single time like you hear it. Like it's timeless. And that's the thing I feel like with producers, and especially like now, I feel like producers are getting more love for being timeless than the actual artists at this point. And that sucks, because there's like great artists. There's like a bunch of great producers right now. And I feel like when we talk about hip hop producers, there's a lot of great ones that are basically like engineering and like help basically piggybacking most of these people's careers. Because some of these artists without some of these producers, I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna be tuning in.
So, they play a big part. Shout out to Tavares Jordan. Tavares Jordan is our PickemPro producer, man. He's made the beats for PickemPros. He's been to some of our shows. We love Tavares. You see him in our intro and outro. So big shout out to Tavares. Hopefully we can get him to our next show. I actually want to get him on as a guest on, and I know we're looking to get him on your show as well. So Tavares is the man. He's an old soul. So we love his style, and his sound is definitely cool and unique. So we love him. But man, I can't wait for your show to come out. All right. Well, Summer, do we have any questions in the queue? Anything to go to? All right. Okay. So I think we're clear on that. Anything else from you, Chris?
No, nothing at all. I think we're
Okay.
good. This is a great show.
Yeah, cool, great. Nah, I appreciate that, man. Well, hey, excited for two things that we'll close on. Again, one, if you want to get into our Pick'em Pro sleeper app, go ahead and DM us on IG, the Pick'em Pros. Go ahead and message us. We'll get you a link. We'll get that created and get that out by tomorrow morning. So you'll have all day Saturday and early Sunday morning to go ahead, sign up, get your picks in, and we'll have a $100 Nike card that we will give out to the winner of that. So each show you'll want to come and join us to, again, make your picks and see who wins and all that good stuff. And next week, we will be in a special studio. So we got a really cool setup next week. We're very excited about that. I know Summer will love that because we'll have some great footage for you, Summer, that you can cut up and have all types of reels. So it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be hot. So a lot of big things coming. Appreciate all love and support. Everyone in IG, we see you, see the messages there. So thank you. And we're going to go ahead and get on out of here, man. We're doing it a little different on Friday. We'll be back Friday next week as well. And we'll see you then. All right. All right, man. We'll sign out like we always do. Until then, PickemPros.
PickemPros.
We'll see y'all later. Thank you.